Okay, I'm pretty sure I did a video about this before, but maybe I haven't because I'm getting several. Well, I think what it is, I did this video when I first started doing videos for my YouTube channel. So back then I didn't have as many subscribers as I do now, and there seems to be a lot of requests from people wanting me to do a video on where to exchange my currency once the rate change happens. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is just quickly let you know what you should do once the rate change takes place, all right? What you should do with your currency. Okay, but before I get into that, real quick, I wanted to bring up an article and bring something to your attention. As usual, look at XRP. I told you there's only two cryptocurrencies that I am interested in. That's Ethereum and XRP. Right now, XRP seems to be making a run for it while the rest of them are taking a slight hit. Now, what I was saying about cryptocurrencies is this. Bitcoin has what's called a halving. Halving is when they reduce the rewards that miners get. And for those you don't know, some of these cryptocurrencies are mined. So what happens is for people who are mining the coins, they get rewarded for mining the coins is what happens. Okay. So when a halving event takes place, the rewards that the miners get are cut in half is what happens. Now, having said that, Bitcoin has a halving event that's coming up halfway through May. It's around the middle of May. And what the expectations were is that Bitcoin would go up in value. In order for it to be profitable for miners to mine Bitcoin, the price is going to have to get up there between $16,000 to $18,000 a Bitcoin, or the operations, the cost to operate a mining computers and stuff is just too expensive, and it becomes costly instead of profitable for miners. Now, about 90% of the Bitcoin miners are over in China, but they're here in the United States as well. Okay, now having said that, if Bitcoin does make a run for it between now and May, you can expect that the rest of the cryptocurrencies will follow along quickly. Okay, so, but I do want to show you how the coronavirus is affecting even cryptocurrencies, although I'm pretty happy about this. I own a lot of XRP. Okay, so anyways, this article came out today. One of the mining firms for Bitcoin is having to shut down because of the coronavirus is making it hard for the company to do any mining, which I find is interesting because it takes some of the bigger mining companies that I've seen. It doesn't take a lot of manpower that I've seen. It's a lot of computer work, but nonetheless, it's not become feasible for them. So already you have Digital Farms, a California-based cryptocurrency mining company, is putting its operation on hold due to the recent decline in Bitcoin prices. Okay, so on March 18th, the miner parent company investment firm DPW Holdings filed an update with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on its business related to the coronavirus pandemic, okay, which has been heavily affected companies and markets globally. So what's happening is it's not feasible for them. So you can see what happens is there's a lot of electricity and square footage for the facility to run. So if the Bitcoin price doesn't increase, then it's actually costing them money to operate. So this is what I'm saying. This is what I was saying. Sometimes there's a small window of opportunity in which you could do pretty good with cryptocurrencies. And this is that window. I don't expect, to be all honest, I don't expect cryptocurrencies to stay this low, especially with the vast majority of the Bitcoin miners being in China. I can't imagine them allowing this price to be this low. I expect to see a run on cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin. And still, we got plenty of time. We got a whole month and a half until the halving. So I'm expecting this to go up. Again, I'm pretty happy about where XRP has been going compared to the rest of them. And for those of you who are not aware, let me just a quick reminder again. I do this every video. Look, inside Facebook, I have a Facebook group called Pimpy's Investment Chat. I encourage everybody to join if you have Facebook, because in here we talk about the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnam dong, cryptocurrencies, gold, silver, you name it, it's talked about in here. So I encourage you to do so. I will leave a link to this group in the description. I encourage you to follow along. Having said that, I also have a link for those of you who are interested in buying cryptocurrencies. If you follow the link, they'll give you 10 free dollars just to join. But in addition to that, if you go down to where it says earn cryptos, you can earn about $60 worth of free cryptocurrencies. So that's not a bad deal for joining and just turn around and getting a quick 70 bucks. All right. I don't know, because they add new ones. And so you can earn even more coins. Or, what happens is, they will only offer the free ones for a limited time. So I encourage everybody to go there and check that out. Okay. Now let's get back to this other thing. What to do with your crypto, or with your cryptos, with your currency. So whether you hold the Iraqi dinar or the Vietnam dong or any other currency for that matter. Now, for a lot of people, you buy your currencies through an exchange. Some of us buy them off the internet. That's fine and dandy. Many of them offer to buy the currencies back. You would take a slight hit. Now, what I have found out, and I've done my research already, and I encourage everybody to do the same thing. You should already be looking into this now. Before this happens, you should be calling around and finding out what to do. Having said that, this is what I do know so far. I bank at Wells Fargo. Okay. What I did is I heard Wells Fargo also buys and sells foreign currencies. You can go and exchange it there. Okay. So if for most, especially in big cities, there's a lot of people who travel, so you could go into your local bank, whether it's a Chase Bank or Wells Fargo, and you could purchase foreign currencies there. Now, having said that too, Wells Fargo does not buy or sell or exchange, I should say, does not exchange Iraqi dinar at the moment. And that's because the currency is not currently recognized internationally. So you cannot do that. Chase Bank, on the other hand, in a lot of locations, will exchange your currencies. Right now, you could go in there and exchange your Vietnam dong, and you can exchange your dinar, but they will exchange it at the current rate. So you don't want to run down there right now, because there's the rates that you're hoping for are not there yet. Okay, so once this happens, and you should check in with your local branch, ask them. You don't have to specifically say the Iraqi dinar. What you should ask them is, one, do they sell the currencies instead of buying through exchanges? And in these two cases, as far as Vietnam dong is concerned, it's a smaller fee than buying them from the exchanges. You can actually contact your bank and order Vietnam dong from them in a lot of locations, and I'm sure it's much cheaper than doing it over the internet. It's just a suggestion, but you will just call them and find out. Just say, hey, am I allowed to go in there and exchange foreign currencies? I like to buy some Vietnam dong, and let them know, and they'll let you know. Okay, so let's just say it's today you find out, hey, Pimpy released a video. The Jubilee is here. Everybody's happy. The Nasara, the Jasara, all the rates have changed, and you are now holding some very valuable currencies. Okay, all of a sudden the Vietnam dong has changed its rate. And now Iraq has changed their rate, but we need more than just a rate change to happen in Iraq. In order for us to benefit from a rate change, it must be recognized internationally in most cases for banks to do the exchange. Again, some Chase locations are already making that exceptions. Regardless of the currency being recognized internationally or not, you can exchange the dinar there. So how you find out is you call your bank or walk in and talk to your branch manager. Again, don't bring up the dinar, because in most cases they'll just make a weird face at you and let you know that the dinar is not accepted nor sold at those banks at this current moment. And again, that's only because it's not recognized internationally. So right now is a good time. And there's even some credit unions that will do that. They'll do the exchange. They will sell you foreign currencies, all right? So my advice to you is to call first your local bank. Okay, there's going to be a fee once the exchange happens. I believe it's around 1%. Okay, so they'll charge you 1% fee to make the exchange. Now, I've spoken to my bank manager at Wells Fargo, and this is what he told me directly. He said, so once you're ready to make your deposit on your currency, I said, okay. I told him myself that it was the Iraqi dinar, and he says, well, and he gave me the same lecture. We don't currently, we will not sell or exchange that currency till it's recognized internationally. That's how I know it. So now, having said that, what he said is, okay, let's say the rate change happens. I said, okay, and you want to come in and exchange your currency. I said, yes. He goes, you just come in, get my attention. I said, okay. He said, let me know that you want to make the exchange. I said, okay. He says, we'll validate that the currencies are legit. In other words, not counterfeit. I said, okay. He says, I will let you know what the current rate is of exchange. I will let you know what the fees are. And you would go ahead and deposit that into your account. So they would deposit the exchange amount. So let's say if the exchange is, just for the sake of it, I'm just going to use round numbers. Let's say I have 1,000 dinars and it's now $3 for every one dinar. I would deposit my $1,000 dinar into my account and they would exchange it. And in my account would reflect 3,000 US dollars. Okay, obviously it's the same for any amount. So if I had 1 million dinars and it was 3 to 1, I would deposit the 1 million dinars into my account and in there would reflect 3 million US dollars. That's how it works, all right? And there would be a fee taken out of it. What he also told me is this. If you're going in there and you're expecting to come skipping out with millions of dollars in the bag, that's not going to happen. Okay? Once the money is put into your account, you will have access to some of it right away. All right? I think for some banks, there is a process in which they take the currencies and they will send it off. And there's a slight hold on it, just like a check. Okay? So if you are new to your bank or if you're depositing a check from a third party, banks will put a hold on the money in your account until the check clears. I would imagine there's the same process because I heard some locations are going to do the same thing, and that is they're going to send in the currencies and make sure that the currency is exchanged, and then it will come back. The bank will exchange directly with our central banks, and then once the currencies they're replenished with the currency, then it'll go to your bank. Now, for me and my bank, I don't have to go through that, so that's a good thing. Once the money's in there, you will have access to it. Now, as far as you wanting the cash money itself, the paper money in exchange, you will have access to X amount of it up front, and then you will have to order the rest. So if you wanted literally $1 million in cash, you would have to tell your bank manager to order the money for you because a lot of banks actually don't hold that much money, believe it or not. Okay, so it depends on your location. So if you want to walk out of there with $1 million, you're going to have to let them know that you want to order $1 million. And even then, there's a small fee for that, all right? Okay, so anyways, a lot of you have been asking what to do. Right now is the time. There are some credit unions that do this as well. And for those of you who keep buying the Vietnam Dong, I suggest instead of doing it over the internet, you try asking your bank if they will order it for you. It's much cheaper that way than it is buying through an exchange who put a pretty good premium on there. I'm not sure if the Chase Bank, I know you're allowed to deposit it and make the exchange on Iraqi dinar. I don't know if you're allowed to order it from there. Some of you that know better, please let me know in the comments. But again, here's what I say. Right now is the time. Start setting yourself up now. Start calling your banking institutions and asking them what the process is for exchanging currencies and what is the fee for doing that. If they don't, if your bank is one of those offshoot banks like the bank of whatever your city's name is, and they don't do exchanges, you might think about switching to a more widely known bank like Wells Fargo or Chase Bank, and then ask them before you make the switch, or at least open up a small cheesy account there. You know, put like a minimum $50 in there. Stay at your old bank, but at least have a bank account established, because most of these people won't do an exchange unless you have an account there. So just keep that in mind whenever you go to make the exchange. You can't just walk into Chase, and you can't just walk into Wells Fargo and not have an account there and expect them to do the swap. Okay. Anyways, I hope this answers a lot of your questions. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to respond to them. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Have a great day.